Well, hello and welcome to Life Science New York's Spotlight Conversations, a regular series of conversations with life sciences thought leaders, innovators, and the community of folks helping to build New York's biomed industry. I'm pleased to be joined today by Mary Malone McCarthy, the president and CEO of M3 Placement and Partnership, a really niche firm in the space of talent acquisition, executive searches, and strategic human resources solutions for the community. M3 has been a terrific partner for many of our members here at Life Sciences New York, and Mary Malone, I'm pleased to have you join us. So welcome,
Thank you, Wen. I'm thrilled to be here. Happy New Year.
and happy New Year to you. Mary Malone, let's start kind of the way we like to here, and I'm hoping you can chat with our audience a bit about you and your background and how you found yourself founding and leading M3 Placement and Partnership.
Sure, thank you. It's one of those industries that you sort of fall into, but then you fall in love with it and you become very passionate about the work that you're doing. Shortly after college, I started in the staffing business and found that it was just a natural fit because I was curious by nature. I loved learning about all these different businesses. So I learned everything from technology to manufacturing to healthcare and had an opportunity to sort of peek behind the scenes on how they recruited and retained talent. What I didn't realize then is that I was sort of building this fabric of who I was going to become down the road. So after a number of years in both staffing and HR leadership roles, I actually went back to our family business in upstate New York and spent time there, which I thought during a transition it would be for a couple of years. It ended up being for a number of fantastic years, working side by side with my father and brother and sister, but always had a passion to impact people's lives and to start my own business. And so I took the opportunity to look at how do you recruit and retain talent, both from the side of supporting companies and then also being on the other side of the desk of in an organization, building a culture, building leadership, building a focus on recruitment and retention and best practices around that. So back in 2012, decided to leave the family business, go out on my own, and began M3 Placement and Partnership.
And talk a bit of, if you will, about the company itself. You referenced your roots in upstate New York. Talk a little bit, if you can, about your reach and the geographic areas that M3 is serving.
Sure. So we focus in three areas. So that's mid to senior level search. And then we also do outsourced recruitment. So if organizations need 5 to 500 positions, and then we do a strategic HR part of that. So our reach for the clients that we serve is national, but our sweet spot is really Buffalo to just south of Albany, outside of New York, Kingston area. So we love to get face to face with our clients. So we enjoy those areas, although our clients, as I said, have brought us nationally. When we do searches, though, our searches are always based on what the type of talent and leadership our clients need. So sometimes we can find that talent in that region, and very often we're looking at a national level for our searches and then focusing on who's coming with that individual and how do we market and celebrate the qualities of bringing talent to our regions.
So you caught my ear talking about kind of the talent in this region and attracting folks. Certainly you and I have chatted about this in the past. One of the challenges, certainly in upstate New York, is that we have been a region that has not seen significant population growth. In fact, in many places, we've seen a population decline. And at the same time, we are a community with rich historical resources in the innovation space, in the education space, and have seen a real renaissance in cities like Albany, Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo. I'm hoping you can give some insight into how it is that we can help accelerate returns or growth in upstate New York, and your thoughts about what it's like to recruit and retain top level talent in upstate New York.
Yeah, no, great question. And I think Life Sciences New York is doing a remarkable job of building a community in, a stretch of region, right? Not just looking in one community. And so when you look at the growth and the opportunities of industries that are calling New York home, especially in the life sciences industry is phenomenal. And so we can talk about what's happening and the future of where we're going. We can only look ahead, and I'm an eternal optimist. But there's a lot to celebrate that I think people forget. In fact, I was just talking about this with our son, who's looking at, he lives in a metropolitan area, and he's like, I really love the upstate area. I love to ski, I love to fish, love to water ski. So we talk about not only the organizations, but the communities and what those communities have to offer. And we have a lot, in all of these communities you just mentioned, we have, great school systems. We have a housing market that's affordable. We have a great quality of life. There's a lot to do. So we talk about not only the communities, but we also talk about what's the story of the organization, the brand of that organization, and really bring that to life. I think the other arm of this, win that is really critical, because I think the statistic is 60 to 70% of offers are turned down based on who is coming with that individual. So we've developed a program called the Accompanying Spouse and Partner Program. So when we look at recruiting talent, we're looking at not just that one person, but who is coming with that individual and what are their needs. So we've done everything from tours of communities to introducing them to school districts to the Chamber of Commerce, having dinners, lunches, breakfast. So it's an opportunity for communities to come together and think about how do they recruit not just a person for a job, but how do we recruit an individual, a partner, a spouse, and others that will come and really advocate for the area. So it's really multi-pronged, but it's also what we're known for is taking a deep dive and helping our clients think about it, not just on, I need to fill this CFO or the CEO position. It's how do we look at all the parts to make this a successful win, not only for recruiting that person, but retaining that individual long term here in the region.
Well, I think you certainly are singing to the choir as far as I'm concerned on that issue of really viewing the situation holistically, right? And as you identify, when we bring a candidate into a potential job, we're almost never just bringing the candidate into the job, right? We're bringing a candidate and that candidate's family,
Right.
often with a spouse or partner, right? Who may have employment needs of his or her own, right? That we need to accommodate, and certainly considerations if you're bringing someone in from outside of the community about understanding where they'll be living, what
Yep.
are the opportunities, and where to go from that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's not just talking about it, but it's putting it to action. So, that person who's making the move, or more than one person, what are their needs? So do they need some help in building their resume, networking, using social media or LinkedIn, having somebody to, connect with that they enjoy for leisure activities. So it's not just talking about it, it's actually putting it to play. And there's one other thought that comes to mind when is that, the elephant in the room is like, not everybody is going to love being in the area that we love so much. We were just talking about the snow and the storms and all of that. And so, a search firm's really got to think about that and have the conversations in front, because we've all heard stories or we've all lived them of we recruit somebody and they turn down the offer in the 11th hour, or they leave in 3 months or a year. So there's a lot of discovery and a lot of conversation and real deep conversation you have to have of, if you're used to sunny California and you've never had a winter in upstate New York, how's that going to work? So we look to see, are there ties back to the regions that we're recruiting for, interests, connections, or just a curiosity of a different way of life or quality of life in this area. So there's a lot to it. It's just, it's not all Pollyannish, but it's really digging deep to make sure that the fit is there.
And then let's kind of flip the viewpoint for a minute and talk from the perspective of the potential employer.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining we may have some viewers out there who have needs of their own to staff up, to find leadership, to find team members. Um, Can you talk a little bit about the work that you do in both understanding the needs of the company and working with potential employers to be able to really refine the search and find the right match for that company?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And this is, you bring up a great point, because this is probably one of the most important steps in getting started. And the success of a search is, very often we'll be brought in and they'll say, gee, we've had this search for this key position for 2 years, and we've had three candidates, and there's terrible stories of why it didn't work, where you really have to peel back the onion and start to get an understanding of the why behind it. So it's, as we always say, it's the little things that are the big things. So starting at, what does that job description look like? Is it accurate? Is it a compelling job description that tells the story of the organization, especially with association members of what they're doing? The beginning of a job description should really be the brand and bring the experience to life so people can picture themselves in that role. Um, and making sure it's really accurate. And so asking a lot of questions, what we talk about is our immersion into that search. So we spend a lot of time interviewing not only, the person who brought us in, but who's this person going to be interacting with day to day? What are the leadership styles? What are the challenges? There's gaps, there's tough things that sometimes people don't want to talk about, but it's good to talk about it because you want to find the right leader. The other part of it is the interview experience, and that starts from the minute that we talk with a candidate. So we talk a lot about our M3 experience as a very white glove, hands-on, creating an experience like they've never had before. And so we help our clients do that. So in many businesses, they're excellent in the sciences or what they do or technology. And so when we start to ask these questions, there's sort of like this, I've never thought about that before. And so we really get excited when we can walk side by side with our clients to help them with the interview experience, the tours, the visits, bringing whoever's coming with them, right down through the onboarding and retention. So, candidates make a decision, or new hires make a decision how long they're going to stay in an organization, typically in the first 90 days. So many times companies are just thrilled to have that person started that they're like, here, thank God, let's go. And they're forgetting about, that's in many ways, that's just, starting that journey with that individual. So there's a lot of opportunity that companies have to have great success in their hiring.
And kind of anticipating a question that someone watching this may have, I need some positions filled. Am I the right fit for M3 placement? Tell me if you can, kind of who's your ideal client? Where is there a sweet spot? And how do we best begin a relationship with a firm like M3 Placement?
Yeah, thank you. So, first and foremost, you're right. Not everybody's a great fit. And so we always say that our candidates are our clients just as much as our clients are our clients. So we take tremendous responsibility of placing candidates in great organizations, caring organizations. That doesn't mean we're looking for perfection. They may be on that journey, but we really start with a two-way interview of, tell us about your organization. What does it mean to recruit and retain talent to you? And how do you care for your employees? What's important about it? If it's transactional and we just need to get bodies and seats, we're not a great fit. There's a lot of, organizations out there that just love to fill jobs. We want to find the right fit with the right talent that's going to help your vision accelerate or come to reality. So we're looking for organizations that are passionate about people, passionate about their vision and mission, their culture. And again, they don't have to be have it nailed, but they need to be on that journey, and that needs to be a priority for them. As far as industries that we serve, we're really boutique, but we do a lot in life sciences, obviously, manufacturing, healthcare, technology is a big piece for us. Typically companies that are growing where it's a big decision, it's incredibly important to get the right fit in these positions. That's particularly for our mid to senior level and executive search. We're also a fantastic fit for either helping up and coming HR leaders or helping talent acquisition teams learn how do they build strong practices to recruit talent. Or some organizations are small and they're saying, we can't afford nor do we need a full-time person, but we've got hiring throughout the year. So we want to have a partnership with an organization like M3 that can manage all of our hiring from soup to nuts for us.
So, when's the right time to call you, and how do I do that if I'm
Mm.
sitting here thinking, I may have a particular position or positions, or I'm thinking of adding positions. Is there a good time in that decision-making tree to reach out to M3 and begin having these conversations?
Yeah, we always love to get to know clients at any point in the cycle, but it's so great when we get to know them when they're starting to think about what does their hiring look like for 2025 or beyond. What are their challenges? What are some problem solving techniques that they need? Retention is incredibly costly for organizations if they're not retaining their talent. So we're about supporting great growth, particularly in New York State. So I always say if someone has a question or they have a need or they just want to talk through some ideas, we're about partnerships, we're about helping organizations. So feel free to call myself or any of our team members that can help and just start to answer some questions. And I think that's the beauty of Life Sciences New York. It's a community where you have resources and trusted resources to be able to help you without signing on to a partnership right at the get-go.
Well, Mary Malone McCarthy, as always happens, these conversations come to an end sooner than I'd like them to, but this has been a great chat for our viewers. If you want to reach out and connect with Mary Malone or other members of her team, you can find them at M3 Partnership, M3 Placement, sorry, .com. That's the letter M, the number three, placement.com. I'd encourage you to spend some time on their website to begin with and get a better sense of the services and programs that they offer. Mary Malone McCarthy, thank you for spending some time with us today. It's been my pleasure.
Lynn, it's been great. Thank you so much. We've loved being a part of the organization and looking forward to a great year to come. And truly, if, like you mentioned, if we can help, because these are big decisions, don't hesitate to call. I'd be happy to have a conversation with anyone.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Mary Malone. We'll talk
Thank
soon.
you.